The Art of Happiness, Even When Life Gets Tough. Written and published by Inspire Audiobook. Introduction. Happiness is often seen as a destination, a place we reach once everything in life falls into place. But what if happiness isn't something to chase, but rather something to cultivate, even in the face of challenges? Life is unpredictable, filled with moments of joy and sorrow, triumphs and setbacks. Yet amidst it all, happiness remains within our grasp, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a way of being. This book is not about ignoring pain or pretending struggles don't exist. Instead, it is about learning the art of happiness, the ability to find light even when life feels dark. Many people believe happiness depends on external factors, success, relationships, wealth, or perfect circumstances. But true joy isn't dictated by what happens to us. It's shaped by how we respond to life's twists and turns. Through mindset shifts, resilience, self-compassion, and daily practices, we can cultivate lasting happiness, even in difficult times. In the chapters ahead, we will explore practical tools, inspiring stories, and timeless wisdom that will help you embrace happiness, not as a reward for a perfect life, but as a daily practice. No matter where you are on your journey, this book will guide you in unlocking a deeper, more fulfilling joy, one that shines even in life's toughest moments. Chapter 1. Beyond the Smile. Discovering true joy. Happiness is often mistaken for a fleeting emotion, something that comes and goes depending on circumstances. Many people believe they will finally be happy when they achieve a certain goal, acquire material success, or find the perfect relationship. But time and time again, we see individuals who seem to have everything, wealth, fame, love, yet still feel empty and unfulfilled. On the other hand, there are those who have endured hardships, faced unimaginable losses, and yet radiate a deep sense of contentment. What makes the difference? The answer lies in understanding the true nature of happiness. True joy is not about constant pleasure or an absence of problems. It is about cultivating a state of inner well-being that remains steady even when life gets tough. If happiness were simply the result of external achievements, then those who have made it would never experience anxiety, depression, or dissatisfaction. But research and real-life experiences tell a different story. Studies in psychology and neuroscience reveal that happiness is less about what happens to us and more about how we interpret and respond to our experiences. This means that even in difficult circumstances, we have the power to shape our happiness. One of the biggest misconceptions about happiness is that it is a final destination, something we eventually reach if we just work hard enough. People say, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion," or "I'll finally enjoy life when I find the right partner." But when those milestones are achieved, the joy is often short-lived, quickly replaced by a new desire or an unexpected challenge. This cycle keeps people chasing happiness, believing it is always just out of reach. Instead of treating happiness as a finish line, we need to see it as a way of being, a mindset, and a practice that we nurture daily, regardless of external circumstances. Happiness also does not mean suppressing negative emotions. Many people believe that to be happy, they must eliminate sadness, frustration, or disappointment. But emotions are part of the human experience, and trying to avoid them only leads to greater suffering. True happiness involves embracing the full spectrum of emotions while maintaining an inner sense of peace and acceptance. It means allowing ourselves to feel sadness without being consumed by it, to acknowledge pain while still holding space for joy. In fact, those who experience deep happiness are not those who avoid difficulties, but those who learn how to navigate them with resilience and perspective. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate lasting happiness is by shifting our focus from what we lack to what we already have. The human mind has a natural tendency to dwell on problems, often amplifying difficulties and minimizing blessings. This is why two people can go through the same situation and experience it completely differently, one feeling grateful and optimistic, the other feeling frustrated and defeated. The practice of gratitude has been scientifically proven to rewire the brain, increasing overall happiness and reducing stress. When we consciously focus on the positives in our lives, no matter how small, we train our minds to find joy in everyday moments, rather than waiting for happiness to arrive in the future. Another crucial aspect of genuine happiness is living with purpose and meaning. While pleasure and comfort can bring temporary joy, they do not create lasting fulfillment. People who dedicate themselves to something greater than their own immediate needs, whether it's personal growth, helping others, or pursuing a passion, tend to experience deeper and more consistent happiness. Meaning gives us direction, a reason to wake up every morning with enthusiasm, even when life presents challenges. Without purpose, happiness becomes fragile, dependent on momentary pleasures that quickly fade. Relationships also play a vital role in long-term happiness. Despite living in an age of digital connection, many people feel lonelier than ever. Research shows that strong, meaningful relationships are one of the greatest predictors of happiness and well-being. However, happiness does not necessarily require a large social circle. Even a few deep, authentic connections can have a profound impact. It is not about how many friends we have, but about the quality of those relationships, the ability to be vulnerable, to support and be supported, and to share meaningful moments with others. Finally, happiness is an ongoing journey, not a fixed state. There will be days when joy feels effortless and days when it feels distant. But the key is to keep practicing, to cultivate habits and perspectives that sustain happiness, even when life is uncertain. The art of happiness is not about smiling all the time. It is about building a foundation of inner peace, resilience, and gratitude that allows us to find joy in any situation. As we move forward in this book, we will explore practical techniques, mindset shifts, and real-life strategies that can help you unlock true, lasting happiness, one that is not dependent on circumstances, but instead rooted in who you are and how you choose to see the world. One of the most powerful ways to turn adversity into growth is through reframing. Reframing is a technique that allows us to change the way we perceive a situation. Instead of seeing a setback as a failure, we can choose to view it as a learning opportunity. Instead of feeling defeated, we can embrace the challenge as a stepping stone toward greater strength and resilience. The stories of people who have overcome tremendous hardships are filled with reframing. Nelson Mandela, for example, spent 27 years in prison, yet he emerged from that experience with a profound sense of purpose and a commitment to healing a divided nation. He didn't view his imprisonment as a loss. He viewed it as a time of personal growth, a time to reflect, learn, and develop the emotional resilience necessary to lead South Africa toward reconciliation. Another key to transforming adversity is accepting that life is not always fair or predictable. We can't control everything that happens to us, but we do have control over how we respond. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it means acknowledging that we are in the midst of something challenging and choosing to move forward anyway. It's about making peace with the fact that life will sometimes be difficult and trusting that we can handle it. When we accept adversity as part of the human experience, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of resistance and frustration. Acceptance creates space for growth, healing, and even joy. It's through acceptance that we can begin to let go of the need for things to be perfect and open ourselves to the possibility that even in pain, there is growth. In addition to reframing and acceptance, another powerful tool for turning adversity into growth is gratitude. It may seem counterintuitive to be grateful for something painful, but there is always something to be learned from every experience. Gratitude helps us shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, from what is going wrong to what is going right. In the midst of difficulty, we can still find small blessings, the support of friends, the lessons we're learning, the inner strength we discover we didn't know we had. By focusing on gratitude, we create a mindset that invites joy, even in the darkest times. Gratitude has been shown to increase overall happiness and well-being, helping us see the light, even when things feel overwhelming. Finally, it's important to recognize that we don't have to go through adversity alone. The support of others can be a transformative part of the process. Seeking help from friends, family, or even professional counselors can provide the perspective, empathy, and guidance we need to navigate difficult times. Surrounding ourselves with people who understand and uplift us can make a world of difference. It's a reminder that we are not defined by our struggles, but by how we choose to navigate them. In conclusion, adversity is an inevitable part of life, but it doesn't have to be a roadblock to happiness. By adopting a mindset that views hardship as an opportunity for transformation, we can begin the process of turning pain into wisdom. Through reframing, acceptance, gratitude, and the support of others, we can transform the base metal of adversity into the gold of resilience, strength, and deeper joy. Remember, it's not the challenges we face that define us, but how we choose to respond to them. The art of happiness lies in our ability to turn even the toughest moments into opportunities for growth. Chapter 3: The Hidden Power of Perspective. One of the most powerful tools we have in our pursuit of happiness is the way we choose to view the world. Our perspective shapes every experience, influencing not only how we see ourselves, but also how we interact with others and how we respond to life's challenges. The key to cultivating happiness, especially in tough times, lies in recognizing that perspective is not fixed. It can be shifted. Often, when we face difficulties, our initial reaction is to view them as burdens, obstacles standing in our way. We get caught in a cycle of negative thinking, focusing on what's wrong, what we lack, or what we've lost. This mindset clouds our ability to see opportunities or blessings amidst the hardship. However, by learning to reframe our challenges, we can shift our perspective and uncover hidden strengths that allow us to navigate life's difficulties with grace and even find moments of joy. The process of shifting perspective begins with awareness. In our fast-paced world, we rarely pause long enough to examine our thoughts or the way we view situations. When we encounter setbacks, it's easy to fall into patterns of frustration or despair, but the power of perspective lies in the fact that often it's not the situation itself that causes pain, it's the story we tell ourselves about it. Two people can experience the same event, yet their emotional responses can be vastly different. One might feel defeated, while the other sees an opportunity for growth or a valuable lesson. This difference arises from the stories we create around our experiences. When we learn to recognize these stories, we gain the power to rewrite them. Reframing challenges doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pretending that everything is okay. It means choosing to see the situation from a broader, more balanced viewpoint. For example, consider a difficult personal loss. It's natural to grieve, to feel sadness and even anger. However, by shifting our perspective, we might begin to see that the loss also carries valuable lessons about love, strength, or the impermanence of life. We might find that through grief, we become more empathetic, more compassionate, or more deeply connected to others. The same concept applies to professional setbacks, health struggles, or relationship difficulties. Each challenge, when reframed, can become an opportunity for self-discovery, growth, or resilience. One powerful method for shifting perspective is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a feel-good emotion, it's a mindset that trains us to focus on what we have rather than what we lack. When we focus on what's going right in our lives, no matter how small it may seem, we begin to change the lens through which we see the world. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the negative aspects of life, we start to recognize the good that is always present. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but it means balancing them with an awareness of the positives. Gratitude rewires the brain, shifting our focus from scarcity to abundance. By practicing gratitude daily, we reorient our minds toward the positive, making it easier to navigate tough times with a sense of calm and perspective. Another key to shifting perspective is learning to let go of the need for control. Life is unpredictable, and many of us find ourselves clinging tightly to the idea that we must control every aspect of our existence. This desire for control often creates stress and anxiety, especially when things don't go as planned. However, when we shift our perspective and embrace the uncertainty of life, we begin to experience a sense of freedom. Accepting that we cannot control everything allows us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. Instead of resisting challenges, we learn to meet them with openness and curiosity. This shift from resistance to acceptance creates space for growth, peace, and happiness. Mindfulness plays a significant role in perspective shifting as well. By practicing mindfulness, we train ourselves to be present in the moment, rather than getting lost in worries about the past or future. This practice allows us to step back from our automatic reactions and observe our thoughts and feelings with greater clarity. When we take a step back from a difficult situation, we often find that we can respond with more patience and understanding. Mindfulness also helps us detach from the narratives we tell ourselves, enabling us to see situations more objectively and with a fresh perspective. With time, mindfulness helps us become more aware of the mental filters through which we view the world, allowing us to choose a perspective that serves us rather than one that keeps us stuck in negativity. Perspective shifting also involves embracing the idea of impermanence. Life is constantly changing, and the challenges we face today will not last forever. This awareness can bring a sense of relief, knowing that even in the most difficult moments, things will eventually shift. When we accept that everything is temporary, we can face hardships with the understanding that they are part of the natural ebb and flow of life. This mindset reduces the pressure we place on ourselves to have everything figured out and allows us to embrace life's uncertainties with greater resilience. In moments of hardship, it can be incredibly helpful to step back and ask ourselves, "What can I learn from this?" This simple question opens the door to new possibilities. It invites us to view challenges as teachers, offering valuable lessons that contribute to our growth. This shift in mindset encourages us to adopt an attitude of curiosity rather than one of defeat. Even when things don't go according to plan, we can choose to see them as part of our personal evolution. Through this lens, setbacks become stepping stones, and difficulties become opportunities to strengthen our character. The beauty of perspective is that it's entirely within our control. While we may not be able to control the events of our lives, we can always control how we choose to respond. This power is both liberating and empowering. When we learn to shift our perspective, we reclaim our ability to navigate life's challenges with grace, clarity, and even joy. Perspective is not just about seeing the glass half full or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to find meaning, growth, and strength in every experience, no matter how difficult it may seem at first. The more we practice this, the easier it becomes to find happiness in the midst of life's storms. By embracing the power of perspective, we unlock the potential to live with a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment, no matter what life throws our way. Chapter 4: The Garden of the Mind. Nurturing positive thoughts. Our minds are powerful, capable of shaping our reality in profound ways. Just like a garden, the thoughts we nurture in our minds determine the quality of our inner world. If we cultivate positive, life-affirming thoughts, we create an environment that fosters happiness. But if we allow negative, self-limiting beliefs to take root, they can overshadow our capacity for joy. This chapter will explore how to tend to the garden of the mind, carefully selecting thoughts that nurture happiness and removing the weeds of negativity that hinder our well-being. At the core of happiness lies the power of our thoughts. We are constantly interpreting the world around us, creating stories in our minds about what's happening and what it means. This process of interpretation influences our emotional and physical responses. For instance, if we approach life's challenges with the thought that we're doomed to fail, that belief will shape our experience, often leading to feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. On the other hand, if we see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, our emotional response shifts, and we may feel empowered, even in the face of adversity. The good news is that, just like a gardener can choose to plant seeds of roses instead of thorns, we have the ability to choose our thoughts. It's important to understand that thoughts are not facts. They are simply mental constructs that we can change with practice. The key to shifting your mindset toward happiness is becoming aware of your habitual thought patterns. Many of us operate on autopilot, unconsciously repeating negative thoughts, especially in times of stress. We may not even realize how often we engage in self-criticism or believe the worst about ourselves or the world. The first step in shifting toward happiness is noticing these patterns and deciding that we no longer want to entertain thoughts that diminish our joy. One effective way to start is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment without judgment. By paying attention to your thoughts as they arise, you can begin to notice when negative patterns occur. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never be happy," you can pause, acknowledge the thought, and gently replace it with something more positive, like "I am enough just as I am," or "I have the power to create happiness in my life." This process is not about suppressing negative thoughts, but rather about consciously choosing to shift your focus toward thoughts that support your well-being. A powerful tool in nurturing a positive mindset is the practice of gratitude. When we focus on what we're grateful for, it shifts our attention away from what we lack and toward the abundance already present in our lives. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring life's challenges. Rather, it means recognizing the beauty and blessings that exist alongside difficulty. For example, even in times of hardship, we can express gratitude for the support of friends and family, the lessons we're learning, or the small joys that brighten our day. Keeping a gratitude journal is a simple yet effective way to cultivate this mindset. Each day, take a moment to write down 3 things you're grateful for. Over time, you'll train your brain to focus on the positive and your sense of contentment will grow. Another technique for nurturing positive thoughts is using affirmations. Affirmations are positive, present tense statements that reinforce the beliefs we want to cultivate. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough to achieve my goals," you could repeat, "I am capable of achieving my dreams." By regularly repeating affirmations, you begin to rewire your brain, replacing old, limiting beliefs with empowering ones. The more you practice affirmations, the more natural it will feel to believe in your potential. It's important to make affirmations personal, positive, and present tense. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, focus on what you can become. Our thoughts also influence how we interact with others. If we believe the world is filled with kindness and opportunities, we'll approach others with an open heart and a sense of possibility. Conversely, if we expect people to be rude or unkind, we may create a self-fulfilling prophecy where we attract negativity. In relationships, it's essential to practice kindness and compassion, both toward others and ourselves. When we adopt a mindset of love and understanding, we create space for deeper, more meaningful connections. One of the most transformative practices for cultivating happiness is learning to challenge negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is the inner dialogue that criticizes, doubts, and undermines our confidence. These thoughts often arise automatically, but they don't have to control us. The next time you catch yourself engaging in negative self-talk, pause and ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Does it serve my well-being? If the answer is no, then consciously choose a more empowering thought. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm a failure," you might reframe it to, "I made a mistake, but I can learn from it and do better next time." This practice helps to break the cycle of negativity and create space for self-compassion and growth. Another powerful tool in transforming our mindset is visualization. Visualization involves imagining yourself achieving your goals and living your ideal life. By vividly picturing your success, you activate the neural pathways associated with that success, making it feel more real and achievable. When you visualize yourself overcoming obstacles and living a happy, fulfilling life, you're not just daydreaming, you're programming your mind to believe that these outcomes are possible. You can use visualization as part of your daily practice, especially when faced with challenges. Imagine yourself navigating difficulties with confidence and grace, and visualize the positive outcomes that are available to you. The key to all of these practices, mindfulness, gratitude, affirmations, and visualization, is consistency. Just like a garden requires regular care and attention, so does the cultivation of positive thoughts. It's not enough to practice these techniques once in a while and expect immediate results. To truly nurture a positive mindset, you must commit to these practices on a daily basis. Over time, you'll begin to notice shifts in your thinking, your emotions, and your life. Your inner world will reflect the positivity and joy that you've intentionally cultivated. In conclusion, the garden of your mind is yours to tend. By consciously choosing the thoughts you nourish and removing the weeds of negativity, you can create a space where happiness can flourish. The power to change your life lies within your thoughts. When you choose to focus on what's good, what's possible, and what's worthy of your energy, you will begin to see a transformation, not just in your thinking, but in your entire experience of life. Happiness is not a distant dream. It is the natural result of nurturing a positive, healthy mindset. Chapter 5. Building emotional muscle. The art of resilience. Emotional resilience is the bedrock upon which lasting happiness is built. It's the capacity to bounce back from adversity, to face life's challenges with a calm and steady mind, and to learn and grow from difficult experiences. Resilience isn't about avoiding pain or hardship, but rather about learning how to navigate through it and emerge stronger on the other side. In this chapter, we will explore how to cultivate emotional resilience, how to use setbacks as stepping stones, and how to turn every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. To start, it's important to understand that emotional resilience is not something we are born with. It's a skill that can be developed over time. Just like physical muscles, emotional resilience grows stronger with practice. The more we face and overcome difficulties, the more we build our capacity to handle future challenges. Life doesn't give us challenges just to test us. They provide opportunities to stretch and grow. And the more we exercise our emotional muscles, the more confident and capable we become in handling whatever life throws our way. One of the first steps in building emotional resilience is changing our relationship with adversity. Most people naturally want to avoid discomfort and pain, but growth often happens in the most uncomfortable spaces. Resilience begins with the mindset that challenges are not obstacles to happiness, but invitations for transformation. When you view hardships as opportunities to evolve, you begin to see the value in every experience, no matter how difficult. This shift in perspective allows you to navigate through tough situations with more grace and less resistance. Another key aspect of emotional resilience is emotional awareness, the ability to recognize and understand your emotions as they arise. When we experience pain or discomfort, it's easy to fall into reactive patterns: anger, frustration, sadness, or even fear. But emotional resilience requires us to pause, observe our emotions, and acknowledge them without judgment. This awareness allows us to separate ourselves from the emotion, preventing it from taking control of our actions and reactions. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can respond thoughtfully and mindfully. One powerful tool in building emotional resilience is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of staying present and fully engaged in the moment, without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we can better manage our emotional responses and reduce stress. Instead of spiraling into anxiety or despair when faced with challenges, mindfulness helps us remain centered and focused on what is within our control. It allows us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them, giving us the space to choose how we want to respond. Whether it's taking a few deep breaths, meditating for a few minutes, or simply observing the sensations in our body, mindfulness is an incredibly powerful tool for cultivating resilience. Another important practice in building emotional resilience is self-compassion. We are often our harshest critics, especially when we encounter setbacks or failure. But the ability to be kind to ourselves during difficult times is crucial for emotional strength. Self-compassion means treating ourselves with the same care and understanding that we would offer to a close friend who is struggling. When we are kind to ourselves, we are less likely to fall into negative thought patterns or become overwhelmed by feelings of inadequacy. Self-compassion encourages us to acknowledge our pain without judgment and to remind ourselves that we are worthy of love and care, regardless of our mistakes or failures. A critical aspect of emotional resilience is also developing a sense of purpose. When we are connected to a deeper sense of meaning in our lives, we are better equipped to weather life's storms. Having a clear sense of purpose gives us direction and motivation, especially during difficult times. It reminds us that there is something greater than ourselves at play, and that the challenges we face are part of a larger narrative. Whether your purpose is tied to your career, your relationships, your passions, or your values, connecting with it regularly can help you stay grounded and resilient in the face of adversity. Additionally, Resilience is strengthened when we cultivate a sense of community. No one is meant to go through life's challenges alone. Having a support system of family, friends, or mentors provides a buffer against stress and helps us stay emotionally strong. When we reach out for help or lean on others, we reinforce our resilience and remind ourselves that we are not isolated in our struggles. Connection with others fosters a sense of belonging and shared experience, which can reduce feelings of loneliness and increase feelings of support and hope. Building strong relationships is not only good for our happiness, but also a powerful tool for emotional resilience. An often overlooked aspect of resilience is the importance of self-care. Taking care of our physical health directly impacts our emotional well-being. When we are well-rested, nourished, and physically strong, we are better able to handle stress and recover from setbacks. Regular exercise, healthy eating, and getting enough sleep are foundational to building emotional resilience. Physical health and emotional resilience are closely intertwined, and neglecting one can weaken the other. When we prioritize self-care, we replenish our mental and emotional reserves, making it easier to stay resilient during tough times. Resilience also requires flexibility. Life rarely goes according to plan, and the ability to adapt to change is a key trait of resilient individuals. When things don't go as expected, resilient people don't resist change. They adjust and adapt. They find new ways to approach the situation and move forward. This flexibility doesn't mean giving up or accepting defeat. Rather, it means being open to new solutions and staying willing to evolve. Flexibility also involves being patient with yourself as you adapt to new circumstances. It's a recognition that life is fluid, and sometimes the path we envision for ourselves must shift in order to accommodate new growth opportunities. Another important aspect of emotional resilience is the ability to focus on what's in our control. When faced with challenges, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the things that are beyond our influence. However, focusing on what we can control allows us to take empowered actions and reduce feelings of helplessness. For example, while we cannot always control the outcome of a situation, we can control how we respond to it. By identifying small, actionable steps within our control, we can regain a sense of agency and resilience. This practice helps us stay grounded and optimistic, even when the bigger picture seems uncertain. Finally, emotional resilience is about developing a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that we can learn and grow from every experience, including failure. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to learn rather than as threats to their self-worth. They are willing to embrace failure as a necessary part of the process, knowing that each setback offers valuable lessons that will ultimately lead to success. Developing a growth mindset encourages us to take risks, try new things, and embrace uncertainty with confidence. In conclusion, building emotional resilience is a lifelong practice. It requires time, patience, and commitment, but the rewards are immeasurable. As we strengthen our emotional muscles, we become more adaptable, more capable, and more at peace with ourselves and the world around us. Resilience empowers us to face life's challenges head-on, knowing that we have the inner strength to navigate whatever comes our way. By cultivating resilience through mindset shifts, self-compassion, support systems, and self-care, we not only improve our emotional well-being, but also unlock a deeper, more lasting happiness that remains unshaken even in the toughest of times. Chapter 6. Embracing imperfection. The beauty of self-compassion. In our fast-paced, achievement-driven world, perfectionism is often viewed as a virtue. We're taught to strive for flawless results, to silence our mistakes, and to present an image of ourselves that reflects only our best moments. But in reality, perfectionism is not a pathway to happiness. Rather, it's a barrier that keeps us from fully embracing our own humanity. This chapter is dedicated to understanding and embracing imperfection, and why doing so is essential for cultivating true happiness. At its core, happiness doesn't lie in being perfect. It lies in accepting ourselves fully, flaws and all. Self-compassion is the antidote to the harsh inner critic that tells us we're never enough. It is the practice of treating ourselves with the same kindness, care, and understanding that we would offer a close friend. Instead of berating ourselves for our mistakes, self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our imperfections without judgment, to learn from them, and to move forward with a sense of grace. Many people find it easier to show compassion to others than to themselves, but what we often forget is that we are worthy of the same kindness. By embracing self-compassion, we create the mental space necessary for growth, healing, and true happiness. One of the first steps in practicing self-compassion is recognizing how deeply ingrained our negative self-talk can be. We are conditioned to focus on our flaws and shortcomings, constantly measuring ourselves against an unrealistic standard of perfection. For many of us, this inner dialogue is harsh, critical, and relentless. I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, or I'm a failure. These are just some of the many negative thoughts that run through our minds daily. This kind of thinking is destructive, leading us to feel inadequate, anxious, and fearful of making mistakes. We become so consumed by our flaws that we forget to celebrate our strengths. To counteract this, self-compassion requires us to recognize these negative patterns and challenge them. Instead of internalizing them, we learn to treat ourselves with patience and understanding. It's about saying, "It's okay to be imperfect. I am human, and that is enough." A key part of this is mindfulness, the ability to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we catch ourselves in the midst of self-criticism, we can pause, take a deep breath, and gently redirect our focus to something more positive. This simple shift in perspective is incredibly powerful. By acknowledging our mistakes without shame, we allow ourselves the freedom to grow. Another critical aspect of self-compassion is forgiveness. Often we hold on to past mistakes, replaying them over and over in our minds, thinking that if we beat ourselves up enough, we'll somehow become better. This isn't the case. In fact, clinging to past failures only hinders our growth. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, a recognition that mistakes are part of being human, and that we have the power to learn from them and move on. When we forgive ourselves, we release the emotional burden of guilt and regret, and we make room for growth and healing. It's a powerful practice that opens the door to greater self-acceptance and peace. Self-compassion also requires us to stop comparing ourselves to others. In an age of social media and constant connectivity, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing our lives, our successes, and our happiness to those of others. We see carefully curated images of other people's perfect lives, and it's tempting to believe that we are somehow falling short. However, comparison is the enemy of self-compassion. When we focus on what others are doing or achieving, we divert our attention from what truly matters, our own unique journey. No one else has the same path, the same struggles, or the same story as we do. Embracing our own imperfections allows us to stop measuring our worth against others and start appreciating our own progress, no matter how small it may seem. One of the most powerful practices for cultivating self-compassion is through the use of affirmations. These are positive statements that we repeat to ourselves regularly to reinforce a mindset of love, acceptance, and gratitude. Rather than waiting for external validation or approval, we affirm our own worth. Examples of self-compassionate affirmations might include, "I am enough, just as I am. I forgive myself for past mistakes," or "I am worthy of love and respect." Repeating these affirmations daily helps to rewire our brain, shifting our focus from self-criticism to self-love. Over time, these affirmations become internalized, changing the way we see ourselves and strengthening our belief in our own inherent worth. It's important to note that self-compassion doesn't mean complacency or allowing ourselves to be lazy or unmotivated. It's not about accepting mediocrity or letting ourselves off the hook for personal growth. Instead, self-compassion is about approaching ourselves with kindness and understanding as we work toward our goals. When we make mistakes or encounter setbacks, it's about learning from those experiences and being gentle with ourselves as we navigate through them. We can strive for improvement and growth while simultaneously practicing self-compassion. One of the most transformative aspects of self-compassion is the way it deepens our connection with others. When we treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, we naturally extend the same compassion to others. We become more empathetic, more patient, and more willing to support those around us. As we heal our own relationship with ourselves, we become better equipped to form meaningful, compassionate connections with others. This, in turn, nurtures a sense of belonging and strengthens our overall well-being. The practice of self-compassion, therefore, not only helps us heal and grow as individuals, but also improves the quality of our relationships and enhances our sense of community. Self-compassion also fosters resilience. Life is full of challenges, and we can't always control the circumstances that come our way. However, when we cultivate self-compassion, we are better able to bounce back from adversity. We learn to face challenges with a sense of curiosity rather than fear, knowing that we have the strength to persevere. Instead of seeing failure as something to avoid, we learn to view it as an opportunity to learn and grow. This mindset of resilience empowers us to face life's ups and downs with confidence and grace, knowing that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. As we embrace imperfection and practice self-compassion, we create space for true happiness. Happiness is not a destination. It is a way of being, a way of accepting ourselves, flaws and all. It is a deep, lasting joy that comes from within, from the understanding that we are enough, just as we are. By releasing the need for perfection and embracing our imperfections, we unlock a sense of freedom and peace. We learn to stop chasing an elusive ideal version of ourselves and instead celebrate the beautiful, imperfect human beings that we are. In this space of acceptance and self-compassion, happiness is no longer something to strive for. It is something we already possess, waiting to be embraced. In conclusion, embracing imperfection and practicing self-compassion are essential steps on the journey to happiness. By silencing the inner critic, forgiving ourselves and learning to love ourselves unconditionally, we open the door to a life of peace, growth, and joy. When we embrace our humanity, flaws and all, we discover a deeper, more authentic happiness, one that is not dependent on external circumstances, but rooted in the acceptance of ourselves as we are. Chapter 7: Rituals of Joy. Crafting your daily happiness. Practice happiness isn't just a fleeting emotion that visits us in moments of celebration. It's something that can be cultivated, nurtured, and experienced every single day. One of the most powerful ways to invite more happiness into our lives is by creating intentional rituals that anchor us in joy. These rituals, though simple, can profoundly shift our mindset and elevate our daily experience. They aren't about grand gestures, but about consistency in small practices that, over time, create a deep sense of fulfillment and contentment. Imagine waking up every day with a sense of purpose and peace, equipped with the tools to face whatever challenges come your way. This is the power of rituals, small acts of mindfulness and intention that ground us, no matter how chaotic life may feel. The key is not to wait for happiness to find us, but to actively choose it, especially in the everyday moments that often go unnoticed. The science behind rituals. At first glance, rituals might seem like trivial or insignificant habits, but they are far from it. The truth is, rituals are deeply embedded in the way our brains function. When we repeat actions consistently, our brains start to associate them with positive outcomes, reinforcing the reward system. This is why practices such as meditation, gratitude journaling, or even morning tea can boost our well-being. By performing rituals that evoke happiness, we trigger the release of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are responsible for feelings of happiness and contentment. But the power of rituals goes beyond just the chemical responses. Rituals give us a sense of control and certainty, especially in times of unpredictability. When life feels overwhelming, having set rituals allows us to regain a sense of order and grounding. This structure doesn't make the chaos go away, but it gives us tools to navigate it with more ease and resilience. Starting your day with purpose. The morning is one of the most powerful moments of the day. How you begin your morning can set the tone for the entire day. Starting your day on the right note doesn't require complex routines, but it does require mindfulness. A rushed, chaotic morning often leads to a hectic, stress-filled day, but a mindful, intentional start can create a sense of calm and readiness. One of the most effective morning rituals is practicing gratitude. Before you even get out of bed, take a few moments to reflect on the things you're grateful for. This doesn't have to be a lengthy process, but it can be incredibly impactful. Whether it's the warmth of your blanket, the breath in your lungs, or the opportunity for a new day, gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's already present. Research has shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience greater feelings of happiness and lower levels of stress. Another simple morning ritual is a mindful stretch or brief meditation. This could be as short as 5 minutes. But those moments of stillness allow your body and mind to adjust to the day's demands with calmness and focus. You don't need a yoga mat or an elaborate space, just a quiet corner in your own presence. The practice of focusing on your breath, stretching out the tension from sleep, and simply being aware of the present moment helps center you, so you're not swept away by the first stressor that comes your way. Midday moments of mindfulness. Once the hustle of the day begins, it's easy to get swept into the current of distractions. We often work through lunch, skip breaks, or push ourselves to keep going until we burn out. However, if we don't intentionally create moments of rest, we risk losing the connection to our inner peace and joy. This is where midday rituals come into play. A simple yet powerful practice is a mindful pause. This could be a 5-minute break where you step away from your desk, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. The purpose isn't to solve problems or think through tasks, but to reset your mind and body. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and consciously relax your muscles. These small breaks throughout the day can significantly reduce stress levels and increase productivity, helping you feel more focused and energized. Another midday ritual is taking a walk, whether it's around the block, in a nearby park, or just outside your office. The simple act of getting up and moving gives your body a break from sitting and allows your mind to unwind. Walking outdoors has been shown to increase mood and decrease anxiety, as the fresh air and natural light offer a reset for both the body and the mind. If your day is particularly busy or stressful, try taking a moment to reconnect with your purpose. Whether you do this through journaling or a few quiet moments of reflection, reminding yourself of your values and why you do what you do, can reignite a sense of meaning. This small ritual helps you feel anchored amidst the distractions of the day. Evening rituals for peaceful reflection. As the day winds down, it's equally important to have rituals that signal to your mind and body that it's time to relax and let go. Evening rituals help you unwind, process the events of the day, and prepare for restful sleep. This is not about rushing to bed, but instead allowing your body to transition from the busyness of the day to a space of peace. One of the most impactful evening rituals is a gratitude reflection. Just as you begin your day with gratitude, ending it in the same way can bring a sense of closure and contentment. Before you go to sleep, take a moment to think about the positive moments of the day, no matter how small. This practice not only helps you focus on what went well, but also trains your brain to find joy in the simple, everyday things. If you find that your mind races at night, consider journaling as part of your evening ritual. Write down your thoughts, your emotions, and anything that might be keeping you awake. Journaling allows you to release any lingering thoughts and settle your mind before bed. This act of self-expression helps you make sense of your emotions and brings clarity. You can also write down your intentions for the next day, which creates a sense of purpose and closure. Another helpful evening practice is light stretching or gentle yoga. This helps release any physical tension accumulated throughout the day and prepares your body for restful sleep. Avoiding screens and giving yourself a period of quiet time before sleep can also help create a calm environment that signals your brain to relax. Rituals of connection. While personal rituals are essential, it's equally important to have rituals that involve others. The rituals of connection, whether with family, friends, or community, nourish our sense of belonging and enhance our happiness. These rituals don't need to be elaborate. It's the quality of connection that matters most. A simple family dinner ritual can be incredibly powerful, whether it's a meal at the dinner table or a shared moment of conversation. These routines strengthen relationships and foster a sense of connection. If you're single, connecting with friends or colleagues through a regular check-in, coffee date, or catch-up session can serve as a ritual that nourishes your emotional well-being. Another connection-based ritual is the practice of active listening. During conversations, truly focusing on the other person, asking thoughtful questions, and showing empathy fosters meaningful interactions. These types of rituals build deeper bonds and create a sense of shared joy. The beauty of imperfection. One of the most important aspects of creating rituals for happiness is remembering that they don't have to be perfect. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes we may fall short of the rituals we set for ourselves. But that's okay. What matters is the intention behind them and the consistency with which we approach them, even if they aren't perfect every day. Instead of stressing over doing everything right, embrace the beauty of imperfection. Happiness isn't about achieving flawless routines, but about creating spaces of joy, love, and peace within the everyday chaos. Chapter 8. Connection and Community. The heartbeat of happiness. Human beings are inherently social creatures. From the moment we are born, we seek connection. Our relationships, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, shape our sense of identity and influence our well-being. But in our modern world, amidst technology and busy schedules, it's easy to feel disconnected, isolated, or misunderstood. Yet, at the core of lasting happiness lies a simple truth. Happiness is found through connection and community. The power of social connection science has long confirmed what many of us instinctively know: we thrive when we are connected with others. Research in the field of positive psychology reveals that close, supportive relationships are one of the strongest predictors of long-term happiness. Social connections not only provide us with emotional support, but they also enhance our sense of purpose, belonging, and overall satisfaction with life. In fact, studies have shown that people with strong social ties live longer, healthier lives and experience lower levels of stress and depression. When we feel supported and understood by others, it provides a sense of safety and security, which allows us to face challenges with greater resilience. On the other hand, feelings of loneliness and isolation can increase anxiety and make adversity seem insurmountable. Yet, despite this knowledge, many of us struggle to form meaningful connections, often due to fear, self-doubt, or the pressures of modern life. Building deep and meaningful relationships, while casual acquaintances and surface-level interactions are a part of life, it is the deep, authentic relationships that truly nourish our happiness. Deep connections are built on trust, empathy, mutual respect, and shared vulnerability. When we open up and allow ourselves to be seen for who we truly are, flaws, fears, and all, we invite others to do the same. These types of relationships provide us with a sense of belonging that no amount of success or material wealth can offer. However, forming these meaningful relationships requires intention and effort. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and neglect the relationships that truly matter. But just as we nurture our physical health with exercise and our minds with learning, we must also cultivate our emotional health by investing time and energy into the people who support and uplift us. One key to deepening connections is practicing active listening. Too often, we listen to respond rather than truly hear the other person. When we actively listen, without judgment or the urge to interject, we create space for empathy and understanding. This not only strengthens the bond between us and others, but it also opens the door to more meaningful conversations and connections. Another important element of building deep relationships is vulnerability. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it's one of the greatest strengths we possess. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open the door for others to feel safe in doing the same. It is through this shared vulnerability that we build authentic connections. This doesn't mean we should bare our soul to everyone we meet, but it does mean being willing to show up as our true selves, with all of our imperfections. Letting go of toxic relationships while fostering positive relationships is key to happiness. It's equally important to recognize when a relationship is toxic or draining. Not all connections are healthy, and staying in harmful relationships out of obligation or fear can take a significant toll on our well-being. A toxic relationship is one that consistently undermines our self-worth, creates stress, or prevents us from living authentically. Letting go of toxic relationships is one of the most difficult but necessary steps toward reclaiming happiness. Whether it's a friend, family member, or romantic partner, it's important to recognize when a relationship is doing more harm than good. Letting go of such relationships isn't about being harsh or unforgiving. Rather, it's about protecting your peace and well-being. Setting boundaries, being honest about your feelings, and distancing yourself from negativity are acts of self-care that allow room for healthier connections to flourish. It's also important to recognize that some relationships may change over time. People grow, evolve, and sometimes outgrow each other. This doesn't mean the relationship was a failure, but rather that it has served its purpose in your life. Learning to gracefully release relationships that no longer align with your values or needs is a powerful way to create space for healthier, more fulfilling connections. The role of community in happiness. While individual relationships are crucial, being part of a larger community can also provide a profound sense of fulfillment and happiness. Community refers to any group of people with shared interests, values, or goals. It could be a religious group, a sports team, a volunteer organization, or even an online community. Regardless of the setting, being part of a community gives us a sense of belonging, purpose, and shared responsibility. Humans have always thrived in communities, and our brains are wired to seek connection with others. When we contribute to a larger cause or connect with people who share our passions, we experience a sense of meaning and fulfillment. A sense of belonging to something greater than ourselves is one of the most powerful antidotes to loneliness and despair. It reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles and that our actions can make a positive impact. Being part of a community also provides us with opportunities for personal growth. Through interactions with others, we learn new perspectives, challenge our assumptions, and gain support in our own journey. It's in communities that we find mentors, make lifelong friendships, and sometimes even discover new passions or talents. If you're feeling isolated or disconnected, it's never too late to seek out a community. There are countless groups and organizations where you can meet like-minded people, whether it's a local meetup, a hobby group, or a cause you care about. Even in the digital age, online communities offer a way to connect with others, share experiences, and offer support. The importance of boundaries in healthy relationships. As we explore the importance of connection, it's equally important to understand the role of boundaries in maintaining healthy relationships. Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines that help define where one person ends and another begins. They ensure that relationships remain respectful, balanced, and mutually fulfilling. Setting boundaries involves knowing your needs, communicating them clearly, and respecting others' needs as well. Healthy boundaries prevent us from feeling overwhelmed, taken advantage of, or drained by others. They allow us to protect our energy while also fostering respect and understanding in our relationships. It's important to recognize that boundaries are not just about saying no to others, they're about saying yes to yourself. When we set boundaries, we are choosing to prioritize our well-being, which ultimately strengthens our relationships and enhances our happiness. Boundaries can be challenging, especially if you've spent years accommodating others, but learning to set and enforce them is an essential skill for maintaining healthy, fulfilling connections. The power of giving and receiving. Finally, it's essential to recognize that connection is a two-way street. True happiness in relationships comes not only from receiving support and love, but also from giving it. Helping others, whether through acts of kindness, emotional support, or sharing your time and talents, creates a sense of purpose and satisfaction. It also strengthens your bonds with others, as giving fosters a sense of mutual appreciation and gratitude. At the same time, it's just as important to receive support from others. Many of us are conditioned to believe that we must be self-sufficient, but the reality is that we all need help from time to time. Accepting help, being open to others' support, and acknowledging our vulnerability and allowing others to care for us is just as crucial as offering help in return. True connection involves both giving and receiving, creating a balanced exchange of energy and support. Conclusion: nurturing connection for lasting happiness. Ultimately, happiness is not a solitary pursuit. It is deeply intertwined with the people we connect with, the communities we build, and the relationships we nurture. Whether you're strengthening existing relationships or seeking new connections, remember that the quality of your relationships will directly influence your happiness and well-being. By prioritizing meaningful connections, letting go of toxic relationships, setting healthy boundaries, and fostering mutual support, you create an environment in which happiness can flourish. Start by reaching out to someone you care about, listening more attentively, or volunteering your time for a cause you believe in. The more you invest in building authentic, supportive relationships, the more profound and lasting your happiness will become. Because in the end, the greatest wealth we possess is not money or possessions, but the love, connection, and community we cultivate along the way. Chapter 9. Embracing life's paradoxes. Finding joy amid uncertainty. Life is full of contradictions. We experience moments of joy alongside sorrow, peace in the midst of chaos, and beauty in the ugliest of places. This paradoxical nature of life can often feel confusing and overwhelming. How can we find happiness when the world seems so uncertain? How do we embrace joy when we're faced with hardships? And how can we be at peace when things are out of our control? The answer lies in learning to accept and embrace life's paradoxes. The idea of dualities and contrasts is not a new one. Across cultures, philosophies, and spiritual practices, there's an understanding that life isn't a constant state of bliss or calm. Instead, it's a delicate balance between light and dark, love and loss, success and failure. It's about understanding that joy and pain can coexist, and by embracing this truth, we can unlock a deeper sense of peace and contentment, even in the most challenging of times. When we face difficulty, our first instinct is often to resist. We don't want to feel pain, sadness, or fear. We want to push away the uncomfortable emotions and situations, thinking that in doing so, we will find happiness. However, the truth is, resistance only intensifies suffering. The more we fight against life's paradoxes, the more we create a sense of inner conflict. Happiness doesn't come from eliminating negative emotions or avoiding tough situations. It comes from accepting them. This doesn't mean that we should passively accept everything that happens to us without seeking improvement or growth. Rather, it means we must stop seeing hardship as something to be feared or avoided. Instead, we can start seeing it as an opportunity for growth, a chance to expand our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Life's challenges are often the very things that shape us, molding our character, testing our resilience, and ultimately teaching us how to find joy in the midst of adversity. One of the most powerful ways to embrace life's paradoxes is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to be fully present in the moment, to experience both the light and the dark without judgment. When we cultivate mindfulness, we stop labeling our experiences as good or bad. We simply allow ourselves to experience whatever is happening right now, without resistance or the need to change it. This acceptance of the present moment opens us up to the beauty of life, even when it's messy, chaotic, or difficult. Think about the moments in your life that have challenged you the most. You may have encountered grief, loss, failure, or fear. In those moments, you may have felt like happiness was unreachable. Yet over time, when you reflect back on those experiences, you might find that they taught you invaluable lessons. They might have deepened your empathy, strengthened your resilience, or given you a new perspective on what truly matters in life. This is the paradox. By embracing our darkest moments, we often unlock the deepest sources of light. One way to navigate life's paradoxes is to reframe our thinking. Rather than viewing pain as something to avoid, we can see it as an integral part of the human experience. Pain and joy are not opposites. They are two sides of the same coin. Without pain, joy would have no depth, no meaning. It is in our darkest moments that we truly learn what it means to appreciate the light. Similarly, without experiencing hardship, we would not understand the value of peace or success. This reframing allows us to approach challenges with a sense of acceptance rather than fear. Instead of trying to control everything, we learn to let go of the need for certainty. Life is unpredictable, and when we resist this fact, we create unnecessary stress. Accepting the unknown and the uncontrollable can bring a sense of liberation. We can start to trust that, no matter what happens, we have the strength and resilience to navigate it. This trust is what allows us to find joy, even in uncertain times. Another way to embrace life's paradoxes is through the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is not just about being thankful for the good things in life. It's about being thankful for everything, even the difficult moments. When we practice gratitude, we shift our focus from what's lacking to what we already have. We start to see the value in the experiences that shape us, even the painful ones. For instance, when we experience loss, we might initially focus on the emptiness it leaves behind. However, with gratitude, we can shift our perspective to honor the love and joy that the lost relationship or experience once brought us. Gratitude allows us to find meaning in the paradoxes of life, helping us to embrace both the joy and the sorrow as essential parts of our journey. This balance between gratitude and acceptance is key to finding happiness amid uncertainty. When we face life's paradoxes with an open heart and mind, we learn that joy doesn't have to come from perfect circumstances. Instead, happiness arises when we embrace both the beauty and the pain of life, knowing that they are inseparable. By accepting life as it comes, both the easy and the difficult, we learn to find peace in the present moment, regardless of what is happening around us. In this way, uncertainty itself can become a source of joy. When we stop trying to control the uncontrollable, we free ourselves from anxiety and fear. We learn to trust the process of life, knowing that even when things don't go according to plan, we can adapt, grow, and continue on our path toward happiness. There's a profound beauty in life's unpredictability. It is in the uncertain moments that we often experience the most profound growth, creativity, and connection. The key is not to resist uncertainty, but to embrace it, knowing that it is through this very uncertainty that we come to understand the depth of our own resilience and the power of the human spirit. To embrace life's paradoxes fully, we must also learn to let go of perfectionism. We live in a world that often emphasizes the need for flawless outcomes, whether in our careers, relationships, or personal lives. But perfectionism is a trap. It keeps us focused on the destination rather than the journey. It creates a false sense of certainty, one that doesn't allow room for the beautiful messiness of life. When we let go of the need for perfection, we open ourselves up to the full experience of life, joy and sorrow, success and failure, beauty and imperfection. We learn to embrace the unknown and trust that even in our mistakes and setbacks, there is value. Each experience, no matter how challenging, is an opportunity for growth, and that is where true happiness lies. In conclusion, embracing life's paradoxes is about accepting the fullness of the human experience, the light and the dark, the joy and the pain, the certainty and the uncertainty. Happiness doesn't lie in avoiding challenges or seeking perfection. It lies in embracing life as it is, in all its messy, unpredictable glory. When we accept both the beauty and the hardship of life, we discover a deeper, more lasting joy, a joy that is resilient in the face of uncertainty and grows stronger with each paradox we encounter. Conclusion: your ever-unfolding journey. As we reach the end of this journey together, it's important to remember that happiness is not a destination, nor is it something we can simply achieve and then be done with. Happiness, much like life itself, is an ever-unfolding journey, one that requires continual practice, patience, and dedication. The lessons we've explored in this book are not meant to be mastered all at once, but rather to be woven into the fabric of your daily life, step by step, moment by moment. As you move forward, know that the pursuit of happiness is not a linear path, nor a static one. It is fluid, evolving, and deeply personal. Throughout these chapters, we've seen that happiness isn't about perfection, it's about presence. It's about learning to embrace the full spectrum of human experience, the highs and the lows, and understanding that joy can coexist with sorrow, peace can be found in chaos, and meaning can emerge even in suffering. In the face of hardship, we have the power to choose how we respond. While we can't always control the external circumstances of our lives, we have profound control over our internal world, the way we think, feel, and react to those circumstances. In this book we explored how happiness starts from within. It begins with the mind, our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. The stories we tell ourselves shape how we experience the world. If we allow negative thinking and self-doubt to dominate, it will be nearly impossible to cultivate lasting joy. But if we learn to challenge our negative thoughts, to reframe our challenges, and to embrace a mindset of gratitude, we open the door to a more fulfilling and joyful life. The practice of mindfulness, living in the present moment, helps us break free from the constant chatter of the mind and reconnect with the richness of our experience. Through meditation, reflection, and conscious awareness, we can quiet the noise and create space for true happiness to emerge. We also discussed the importance of resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep going, no matter what life throws at us. Resilience is not something we're born with, but rather a skill we can develop over time. By cultivating emotional resilience, we learn how to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and strength. Resilience is about being flexible, adaptable, and compassionate with ourselves when things don't go as planned. It's about knowing that pain is a natural part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to define us. When we cultivate resilience, we become better equipped to weather life's storms and emerge stronger on the other side. Self-compassion plays a pivotal role in our ability to live joyfully. In a world that often encourages perfectionism and self-criticism, practicing self-compassion is an act of radical love. It means treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that we would offer a dear friend. Too often we beat ourselves up for not measuring up, for making mistakes, or for not being where we think we should be. But self-compassion teaches us that we are worthy of love and care, no matter our flaws or shortcomings. It allows us to accept our imperfections, to forgive ourselves, and to move forward with a sense of peace and confidence. The power of self-compassion cannot be overstated. It is the foundation upon which true happiness is built. Another key theme in this book was the importance of daily habits. Small, consistent actions compound over time, creating profound shifts in our emotional and mental well-being. Whether it's taking a moment each day to reflect on what we're grateful for, engaging in regular physical activity to release stress and boost our mood, or practicing mindfulness to cultivate inner peace, these habits help anchor us in happiness. We often underestimate the power of simple, positive routines, but they can be transformative. By setting ourselves up with practices that nurture our body, mind, and spirit, we create a foundation for lasting joy. Remember, happiness isn't a one-time event. It's the result of many small choices made each day. Of course, relationships and connections with others are essential for our happiness. As social beings, we are wired for connection. We thrive when we feel seen, heard, and valued by those around us. But the quality of our relationships matters far more than the quantity. It's not about having a large circle of friends or being constantly surrounded by people. It's about cultivating deep, meaningful connections with those who support, uplift, and encourage us. Healthy relationships nourish our souls and help us feel grounded in a world that can often feel chaotic. Likewise, it's important to set boundaries, learning to say no to toxic relationships and to protect our emotional well-being. The people we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on our happiness, so it's essential to choose relationships that are positive and aligned with our values. Finding purpose is another cornerstone of lasting happiness. When we align our daily actions with a sense of meaning and purpose, our lives become more fulfilling. Purpose gives us direction and motivation, even when things feel difficult. It helps us connect to something greater than ourselves, providing a sense of fulfillment that material success or external validation cannot provide. Whether your purpose lies in your work, your relationships, your community, or your personal growth, it's essential to find what drives you. Living with purpose makes us feel alive. It connects us to our values, helps us contribute to the world, and creates a sense of pride and satisfaction in the life we are building. As we've explored, challenges are a part of life. While we may not always be able to control our circumstances, we can choose how we respond. We can choose to face adversity with courage, curiosity, and a willingness to grow. When we shift our perspective on difficulty, we unlock the potential for personal growth. Life's hardships can become the very experiences that shape us into stronger, more compassionate, and more resilient individuals. In many ways, it is through our struggles that we discover our true strength. By facing challenges head-on, we learn valuable lessons that help us appreciate the highs of life even more. So when you encounter a difficult moment, remember that it is not the end of your story, it is simply a chapter in your journey. With each challenge comes an opportunity for growth, and with growth comes a deeper, more lasting happiness. The final piece of the happiness puzzle is acceptance. It's about accepting ourselves, our circumstances, and the unpredictability of life. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or resigning ourselves to mediocrity. Rather, it's about acknowledging reality as it is and making peace with it. Acceptance frees us from the burden of constantly fighting against what is, allowing us to flow with life rather than against it. When we accept ourselves and our circumstances, we open the door to true inner peace. This peace is the foundation of happiness. It's the stillness that allows joy to emerge naturally. As you move forward from here, remember that the journey toward happiness is not a sprint, but a marathon. There will be moments of struggle, doubt, and frustration. But there will also be moments of joy, laughter, and beauty. Through it all, keep practicing, keep learning, growing, and embracing the art of happiness. The more you cultivate it, the more it will become a natural part of who you are. Happiness is not something you chase. It's something you create, nurture, and embody. And as you continue on this path, remember that happiness is not the absence of difficulty, but the ability to find peace, purpose, and joy in the midst of it. Your journey is unfolding right now. You are capable of creating a life filled with meaning, love, and happiness, even when life gets tough. So take a deep breath, trust yourself, and know that the art of happiness is yours to master, today, tomorrow, and every day after that.